All right, so this bozo right here is Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, and in more recent times, he's really been showing himself to be I don't know, an America Last type guy. He also doesn't. He's been proposing a lot of ideas that aren't really the brightest. And yeah, he's. I don't know if he's been like this always. I only started paying attention to more local politics more recently, like within the past few years. Obviously, he's been a senator for the state for much longer than just a few years, so maybe he's always been an idiot, and I never realized. But now that I've been paying attention, wow, is he terrible. Anyhow, recently he posed he wanted to tackle the I don't know people who are struggling financially by proposing an idea to increase minimum wage to $25 an hour, which I had previously already made a video talking about. I think at the time of this upload, it's about 6 videos back. Anyhow, obviously, I went over everything in that video as to why that is a dumb idea. But here's the thing. I ended up coming across this post on Facebook more recently than my original video, which makes me feel like it's still just a current thing. I mean, it could be that this Mike Ortiz guy on Facebook just recently reposted it or whatever, so maybe it's the same talking point from last time, but it feels like it's something new, which means it's still being talked about, which means this idiot still thinks it's a good idea. So, I just kind of wanted to talk about it again. Unfortunately, because there's going to be a lot to talk about, this is going to most likely be at least a 2-part video, possibly 3. I'm not a fan of that. I'm sure you're not either. Everyone likes it when everything's all in one video, but there's a lot to say, and I only have 10 minutes, and I've already burned through 2 minutes doing this long intro, so leaves me with 8 minutes. So anyways, let's get into it. Before we really get started, I want to say a couple things, just right off the bat, about how this doofus thinks that $25 an hour minimum wage is a good idea. One, it shows that he has very, very low critical thinking skills. I mean, think about it. He had a problem arise, whether people are saying it to him or he's just sitting there in his office thinking like, people are struggling financially. Minimum wage is, one of the most common jobs people get. And so his solution is literally an elementary school student's idea. This is like a first or second grader's solution, a 6 or 7-year-old child's solution. Think about it. If you're a teacher in a class and you're like, okay, class, let's say mommy and daddy are struggling at their job. They make minimum wage and they're just having a hard time getting by. What do you think could be done so mommy and daddy can have more money? Or whatever. The kids would be like, their job can pay them more. And then they'd say something like $25 an hour, because since they don't understand money and numbers really, they'd think that that's a real high amount. Then they'd probably all giggle, thinking that $25 an hour is just some ridiculous amount of money. And then the teacher would entertain it. Oh, yeah, that's a start. That's an idea. Any other ideas, class? Well, yeah, that's as far as this idiot went. He can't think any deeper than a surface level of what a 6 or 7-year-old would think. That's as far as it goes. His critical thinking, terrible. This is an elected official. This is a guy who's probably over 40 years old, maybe pushing 50. I'm not sure how old he is, but I'm just guessing. At least in his 40s. And, that's as far as he can think? Is as far as a 6-year-old can think? Come on, brother. You're supposed to be like a lawmaker and all this, and the best you can do is basic thought. Like, you thought of a problem, and the only solution you can think of is the first thing. Bing! I know, make minimum wage super high. That'll fix the problem. Wow. The second thing that this shows about him is that he has moderate IQ. What I mean is, he's not very smart, but at the same time, he's not very dumb either. See, when I think of a politician that's really dumb, I think AOC, I think Jasmine Crockett, I think, what's her name, Rosa DeLario from Connecticut. I think those morons, they are dumb. So they're probably lingering around like sub 80 IQ. This idiot I don't think is sub 80, but I also don't think he's real stellar either. I'd guess based on how he can't think very critically, I'd say he's maybe 85 to 90 IQ, which, is right around the bell curve. Bell curve in the middle is 100, so he's slightly under because he can't critically think. But at the same time, it's not something you'd brag about. You know, you're not going to walk around saying, oh, I got an 85 IQ, unless you're an idiot. Then again, who knows? Maybe if you do have an 85 IQ, you don't understand how the IQ system works. So you think of it as like a test, 0 to 100, which means you would brag about an 85. Hey, I got an 85 on my IQ test. Not bad, right? Not understanding that, no, that's pretty low. Considering, like, you know, 120 is good and above, and you only got an 85. I mean, even 100's average, and you're still below that. But, you know what I'm trying to say? Making a little joke here. So yeah, that's what I think about this guy. Like, clearly he is not showing that he has much intelligence. If that's the best he can come up with, is shooting the minimum wage up. Anyways, now let's get into the real criticism of his tweet and just everything that I want to say about it. Oh, another thing too, before we get going, I forgot to mention, I don't really know what his plan is with the $25 an hour pitch. I don't know if this is nationally that he wants to make it 25, so that means it's going to go from like $7.65 an hour or whatever it currently is to $25, which is an insane jump. You're talking what, almost 4 times an increase, like 3.5 times increase, 350% increase. That's ridiculous. If he's talking locally, I mean, he is a Connecticut senator, but, you know, he seems to travel all over the country and sometimes the world, which I don't quite understand. You're supposed to represent Connecticut, not California or Ukraine or whatever, but sure, you do you, I guess. But if he's talking about Connecticut, that's still about a 50% boost. I mean, we're already at, like, what, $16.94? So the $25 an hour, you know, that's just about a 50% increase. So that's pretty ridiculous as well. But yeah, so I don't know what context he's talking, but either way, both contexts are terrible. So anyways, this idiot in his post said, in the most affluent, most powerful nation in the world, everyone who works full-time should be able to pay their bills. A minimum wage should be a living wage, and that's $25 an hour. The billionaire class will say we can't afford it. They are wrong. We can. I really want to get into a lot of stuff, but just on the surface level, like, there's a lot of stupidity just in this post itself. First off, where are you coming up with $25 an hour as the livable wage? Like, literally, where did you come up with that? Did you have a team actually do any kind of, like, statistical analysis and crunch the numbers properly? Or did you just, like, think of a number that sounded good and you're like, $25 an hour works? Like, what's the support on this? Like, I feel like this is just a wild claim. You just came up with $25 an hour and you're like, sounds good. And then the second thing, the billionaire class will say we can't afford it. They are wrong, we can. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not even a millionaire. I'm not even like 100,000-aire. And I can tell you that this is ridiculous and very impractical and unaffordable. Why you chose to attack billionaires in this tweet makes absolutely no sense at all. Billionaires also live in a different realm than the rest of us. I don't mean because they have way more money. I just mean they have a lot of money tied up in their businesses, in stocks, in real estate, in a variety of things. It's not like they're walking around with $1 billion in the bank and they can just go to the ATM and be like, yeah, I think I'll take out $2 million today. It's not how it works. So they're not like us. Our money is actually our money. We can go to the bank. You know, if we say we have $1,000 to our name, we probably have $1,000 in our bank account. A billionaire might be net worth of $1 billion, but maybe in their bank account it's only 50,000. Like, because it's their home, it's their stock portfolio, it's their real estate portfolio, it's their everything else that contributes to that net worth. So I don't know what he's trying to say here, calling out billionaires. I think it's just because it's a buzzword with the left and the liberals and Democrats. Oh, he's calling out the Democrats. I mean, the billionaires. Oh, look. And then they are wrong, we can. Again, have you run any kind of like statistical models or anything? Have you actually done like put this number into like a simulator and let it run for like the equivalency of like a decade, let's say, in the simulator? Don't really let it run for a decade, but like an accelerated simulator. Did you let it run for a decade and see what would happen with all real world type situations affecting this model? Did you do that? And actually be able to prove that this stupid claim is accurate? That they are wrong and we can't afford this? Because I highly doubt it. I don't even think you probably even thought of doing anything like that. You're just making wild claims and you just want people to support your dumb nonsense. And so you make this stupid post just to pitch your terrible idea that you thought about for about 7 seconds.